Well, more now reaction on the thawing relationship between Washington and Havana and also the dynamics of this summit. Let's go live to Washington. Joining us from there is Marco Vicenzino. He's the director of Global Strategy Project. Mr. Vicenzino, thank you for joining us. Your thoughts on this new tone and whether it will really lead to action?
Obviously, you can tell only by time. But I think in this sense, the summit, some of the Americas, like Mr. Obama's visit to Europe for the G20 meeting and also for the NATO conference, was all about setting a new tone, setting a new relationship, a new rapport with international leaders, and to set the stage for future initiatives. So it's not so much about getting results from this actual meeting in terms of the three-day conference, but it's setting the tone for other initiatives that come afterwards. Like I said, it's about building good personal rapport, and through that good personal rapport to begin a dialogue that can go on to substantive talks and lead to concrete results in the distant, not in the short term, but I would say more in the long term.
Let's listen to something that the Venezuelan president, Hugo Chavez, who has called President Bush the devil, had to say for this summit when he was talking about what priorities he saw for improving relations. It was all about Cuba. Let's listen.
No estamos hablando del pasado.
We're not talking about the past when we mention the criminal embargo to Cuba. Everyone has requested for this embargo to be lifted. Obama must do it. He must do it. He has no excuse for not doing it. Everyone supports him doing so. I'm sure that even the people of the United States support him in doing so. Obama would have no excuse before history for not doing so. He has a big opportunity.
President Obama is not ready to lift the embargo. He's taking small steps. How big of a hurdle do you think this will be?
I mean, you have to look at the domestic situation in the U.S. and also at the realities in Cuba. I mean, as long as you have people who are imprisoned, there's not democratic reform, and individuals are in prison right now simply for freedom of expression. That's their only crime. So there's a lot of reform and change to take place within Cuba. The president made clear these changes are not going to take place overnight, but you need to have a process whereby it's beginning. And until I would say that we see some short-term actions, it can be such as the freeing of the political prisoners, some more opening. Until then, I would say the president would not be lifting the embargo anytime soon. It's going to be based upon not only just a dialogue, but a dialogue that's going to produce results, short-term and long-term.
What do you make of President Raul Castro saying that everything is open for discussion, including political prisoners, including human rights? We really haven't heard that before. How groundbreaking is that?
I mean, there's a difference between the rhetoric of change and the reality of change. Obviously, Mr. Castro wants to seize this opportunity with a new U.S. president to begin this new dialogue. And at times when you have a process of a dialogue going and the dialogue goes on for too long without producing results, people tend to forget about the great energy, that the momentum that seems to be building at the present time. But I would say that if the objective of Mr. Castro, of Raul Castro, is ultimately to preserve the present system in Cuba, I would say much of what he's saying now is going to have little validity down the road. If he's sincere about opening up slowly and over time, there can be a good relationship and a good substantive dialogue between the U.S. and Cuba and a possible lifting of the embargo. But once again, one has to ask, what is the sincerity of the change? And when he says everything is open, it depends at the end of the day upon results.
Absolutely, and that is key. And a lot depends on whether President Obama can sustain his attention. We knew that President Bush wanted to he made his first visit to Mexico. He wanted to make Latin America his main priority. And then September 11th happened. And then the world took over his agenda. Your thoughts on whether President Obama, who's already taken over so many domestic initiatives, can really sustain this?
Well, obviously, a lot of it's going to depend upon our partnership with countries in the region, and that's why it's key. Places like the OAS, strengthening the organizations of the American states, as a regional forum. Strengthening that forum is key to resolving many hemispheric issues. To rely solely on President Obama and the U.S. will not generate results at the end of the day. But if other countries in the regions, particularly the big ones, assume more responsibility, and I'm talking specifically like countries like Brazil, the U.S. has to cultivate and nurture a key, strong relationship with Brazil to resolve hemispheric issues and also global issues. So I would say is that you have to increase not only multilateral rhetoric, but multilateral activity. Because once again, the U.S. is overwhelmed. We have a lot of problems around the world, whether it's South Asia, the Middle East, transatlantic, parts of Africa. Throughout the world, as President Obama embarks on his new foreign policy, relationships and dealing with regional organizations and regional powers will be key to the success of U.S. foreign policy.
Marco Vicenzino, Director of the Global Strategy Project, thank you.
Thank you.